Hi, my name is Sydney and welcome to my Physical TBR challenge. This Physical TBR challenge is something that I've been doing for over a year now. I used to do it weekly over on TikTok, but now I've transferred it over here onto YouTube and I'm doing it monthly. And so the things I'm looking for are how many books I own, how many I've read, how many I've unhauled, and how many I've acquired each month. So in the month of November, I read 11 books, and only one of those was unfortunately on my Physical TBR. All of the other books I read were either audiobooks or they're all on my Kindle. I was really hoping I'd get through more, especially with my fall reading, but it's the end of my busy season. I'm a wedding photographer, and there was one book in particular that just kind of put me into a reading slump, so I didn't get through as many books as I wanted to. For Thanksgiving, my mom actually came to visit me, and so I felt like my bookshelves were just being a bit too chaotic for her eyes. And so I went through and I reorganized, and I actually ended up unhauling a ton of books. I just finished going through all of my books, and I'm going to show you the books that I took off the shelves to give away. So these are all going to be unhauled this month. Starting with all of these all came directly off the shelves, and all of these. Some of these I just don't want to read anymore, and then some of them are just not in the best condition. And so I'm going to give them away, and if I want to read them eventually, I'll just get them from the library. Also, I just finished reading this and I'm not going to read it again, so it's going to be unhauled. And then I got both of these while book thrifting recently, and I don't need them, so I'm going to gift them. So all in all, I ended up unhauling about 30 books. Now, unfortunately, in November, I also did a bunch of book thrifting, so I did acquire a few new books. First and most importantly, I got the Illuminate versions of the Percy Jackson series. These are my new favorite books I've ever gotten in my life. I mean, oh my god, I'm in love. I'm in love. These are two pre-orders from Barnes & Noble that came in the mail. I bought these in an indie bookstore opening. I got each of these for $2 or $3 at my library. And then I got all of these while out book thrifting. They are not all going onto my shelves. Some of them are gifts. And then after my mom left, I did end up going to Barnes & Noble for Black Friday, and these are the two books that I walked away with. I read this one a while ago and I've been wanting to do a reread, and I've been reading through all of Aaron A. Craig's work. This is the only one I haven't read yet. So I started the month with 751 books, and I'm ending it with 750 books. So it doesn't really feel like much progress, but I guess it was. Now maybe it's because a lot of the books that I got are books that I've already read and want to reread or just want to own, but my stats actually are a lot better this month than they did last month. Last month I had 581 books unread, but this month I ended up with only 574 books unread, which is still an absolutely absurd amount of books, and that's why I'm doing this challenge. Last month my books read percentage was 22.6%, but now I'm up to 23.5%. I don't know how I jumped up almost an entire percentage, but I'm not going to question it. My goal at the beginning of the year was to get up to 30% books read, but at this point I would need to read 49 more books, and that is just not happening by the end of the year. So unfortunately that goal is just not going to happen this year, but I'm really hoping I will meet that and hopefully exceed that in 2025. As I've mentioned in some of my other Physical TBR videos, there are certain challenges that I want to do with my reading for each month to make sure that I'm, reading very good books, reading diversely, reading people that aren't just American, reading parts of series and parts of authors that I'm tracking instead of just kind of reading willy-nilly kind of thing. But again, that's not going to start until 2025. So for the rest of 2024, aka just December, I pulled a few books that I want to read. The problem is, in about a week to a week and a half, I am leaving my apartment. I tend to go on long trips every winter because it's my off season, and so I don't really have my Physical TBR with me. But I'm hoping that in that time I can get through at least a few of these books. Honestly, I would be more than happy with 2, but if I can get 3, I will be incredibly excited. I have 3 holiday romances I'm really hoping I'll get to. This one is by one of my favorite authors. This one I found at a library and it sounded really cool, and this is a reread of one of my favorite series. And then I have 3 fantasies that I've been holding on to for a while now, and they just scream winter to me, so I'm really hoping that I will get to these 3. And then lastly, my mom and I are going to California for December, and so I'm hoping to read this before we go to Disneyland. And then lastly, I found this Hallmark Christmas book and I thought it was so funny, but I think that honestly reading it will just get me into the Christmas spirit. I'm wrapping up my fall reading vlog today and hopefully going to start my winter reading vlog tomorrow, so we'll see how many books I can get to in December before I leave on my trip. I'm really hoping to not buy too many books while I'm in California, but I know that there are multiple bookstores that we are intending to visit, so we'll see. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.